All right, guys. Hey, man, crazy old man here. If you don't know, I'm 56 years old. I was kind of married for 24 years. And during that time while I was married, we became roommates, with my wife. We got a divorce. 8 months later, I'm in this new relationship for a decade. During that time, man, I gained weight. I became like this functional alcoholic. I wanted to eat a bullet. And then something kind of switched. I don't know what, I don't know why, but all of a sudden I was kind of awake and I realized something. There's a chemical switch in your brain that keeps you asleep in your own destruction. And most people, they never, ever, ever flip this switch. And today we're going to talk about why. Okay, let me start with something you'll recognize. Remember when you first started dating, your wife or whomever or significant other, whoever that might have been, you couldn't keep your hands off each other, right? You had sex it was like 3 times a day. You'd stay up all night talking, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like, man, what happened to all of that, right? And science kind of has an answer, and it's not what you think. After about 4 years together, man, your brain, it stops making the chemicals that made you want to rip each other's clothes off, right? It's called dopamine. And think of dopamine as kind of your drive chemical, right? It's what makes you want things, what makes you chase things, what makes you fight for things. When dopamine is high, you pursue, right? And when it's low, you kind of start settling for whatever is there. But here's kind of the messed up part, right? Your brain replaces that drive chemical with a different one. It's called oxytocin, right? And I think it's kind of like your comfort chemical. It makes you feel safe. It makes you feel calm. It makes you feel content. Sounds good, right? Well, maybe wrong. Here's what nobody tells you. It might be that you can't have both chemicals high at the same time, right? So when comfort is high, drive kind of starts getting low. And when you feel safe and content, you stop pursuing. You stop fighting. You stop growing. So what happens? You go from lovers to roommates, right? From passion to we're comfortable, from growth to stagnation. And here's the kicker. It all feels absolutely normal. The comfort chemical makes you think this is fine. This is how marriage is supposed to be or relationships are supposed to be. But it's not fine. It's kind of like a chemical sedation. Now, here's where it really gets messed up. The same switch doesn't just happen in marriages. It happens in every area of life. Career. You start a job, you're excited, you're ambitious, you're ready to change the world, right? And then 5 years later, you're comfortable, you know the routine, you're not growing, but you're not in pain either. And the comfort chemical, you're kind of sedated there, right? Health, you used to be in shape, now you're in your now you're 40 pounds overweight. But it happens so gradually, it feels normal, everything around you looks the same. The comfort chemical whispers, this is just what happens when you get older. Money. You used to dream of wealth, right? Now you're just kind of getting by, but hey, the bills are paid, you're comfortable. That's comfort chemical talking. It even happens in friendships. You used to have close friends. Now you have work acquaintances and drinking buddies, but it's comfortable, no drama, no deep conversations that really challenge you anywhere. And here's what I realized. The comfort chemical isn't just in your relationships. It's sedating like entire lives, right? So let me tell you about my prison. For a decade, I was kind of like this functional alcoholic, if there is such a thing. Every weekend, I'd sit in the same bar with the same people, drinking the same drinks, having the same conversations, right? And it all felt fine, because everyone around me was doing the same thing. When everybody in your circle is fat, you don't feel fat. When everyone in your circle drinks, right? Drinking feels normal. This is what I call like a social sedation. And your dysfunction, it starts feeling like community. Your addictions, they start feeling like belonging. Your stagnation, it starts feeling like stability. And the bar wasn't just like my support system, it was my sedation system. And same thing happens everywhere. Fat friends make obesity feel normal. Broke friends make financial struggles feel realistic. Miserable friends make your dead marriage feel just how it is, right? Lazy friends make you lack ambition and feel wise even. And the people around you become the chemicals that kind of keep you asleep. So, what wakes people up? For me, it was hitting rock bottom, 100%. Complete breakdown. The comfort system, it couldn't maintain itself anymore. That was it. It was done. Whatever purpose it was serving, that purpose was served. But here's where it gets weird. I didn't choose to wake up. I didn't want to wake up. I fought like hell to go back to sleep. But I was awake all of a sudden. And once you're awake, staying asleep, it kind of becomes impossible to do. It's like someone cranked the drive on this chemical and turned down the comfort chemical. Suddenly fine felt like death to me. Comfortable felt like poison. I kind of went overboard. I quit drinking. I started working out. I changed my diet. I quit smoking. I changed my friends. I changed everything. But here's the brutal part. For the first 3 weeks, nothing visible changed in my life. Right? I felt like I was doing everything right, but I was seeing absolutely no results. And be honest, I was wanting to quit every single day. Right? That's the test. That's when, I would normally give up. I'd be like, no, man, that's it. Done. Right? People sometimes they're like, this ain't working. I might as well go back to comfortable. Right? That's what I was thinking. But sometimes you don't realize the brain, it's kind of rewiring. There's new pathways that are forming. The switch is happening. You want to quit right before there's an actual breakthrough, right? That's when you want to quit. So why does it take so long? Why is it so hard? Because you're not just changing habits in your life, you're changing brain chemistry. For years, maybe decades, your brain has been wired for comfort, right? Comfort pathways are like superhighways. They're fast, they're efficient, they're automatic, right? But growth pathways, it's more like a dirt road somewhere, man. They're slow, they're bumpy, they require just constant effort. And when you try to change your brain, man, it fights back. It says, hell no. It wants the superhighway, right? It wants the familiar chemicals, right? That's why it's so hell to make changes when you're so far off somewhere else, right? Your brain is screaming, go back to the bar, eat the pizza, skip the workout. This is so hard. Do this, do that, whatever it is. You're literally fighting for your own neurotransmitters. But here's what happens. If you survive those weeks that everything is just like fighting back, new pathways begin to form, right? And the dirt roads, all of a sudden they get kind of a little pavement on them. And then once the pavement, they kind of widens, all of a sudden there's side streets. Next thing you know, you're back on a highway again. And you're motoring down the road. And all of a sudden the growth chemicals, man, they start flowing down what used to be a dirt road. Now it's all of a sudden, now it's this highway. And suddenly growth feels better than just comfort. And this is something a lot of people don't talk about. The comfort chemical, it isn't evil. Comfort serves a purpose. After trauma, after loss, after crisis, you need time to heal, right? You need safety. You need rest. The problem isn't comfort. That's not the bad thing. The problem is unconscious comfort. When you choose comfort without knowing you're choosing it, you become like chemically sedated to your own decline. Conscious comfort, I'm choosing rest right now because I absolutely need it. Unconscious comfort, this is just how life is. One empowers you, the other imprisons you. So here's the pattern I see everywhere. Phase one is kind of like the decline, right? Years, decades. Slowly losing drive, gradually accepting less, comfort chemical rising, drive chemical falling, and then the ramp up. It could take months, it could take years. Growing discomfort with status quo, attempts at change that fail, old systems starting to break down. And then phase three, it's kind of like a crisis, right? It's like days and weeks, complete breakdown, comfort system can't maintain itself, rock bottom, right? Phase four, the switch. It's kind of immediate, drive chemical flood, start flooding back, comfort becomes impossible. All of a sudden now you're awake, whether you want to be or not. All of a sudden that happens. And then phase 5, you enter into this fight, right? And it can last weeks, it can last months. And you're just fighting to stay awake. And you're building new pathways. You're resisting the pull back to sleep. And then phase 6, the new normal, years. Growth becomes a new comfort. Drive becomes automatic. You're a different person with a different brain. Most people quit, sometime around phase 5. They think it's not working. They don't realize about the breakthrough. And they're like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm gone. So here's my question for you. Where are you in this pattern? Are you in phase 1? Are you slowly declining while tell yourself everything's fine? Are you kind of like in phase 2, feeling that growing discomfort, but not sure what to do about it? Are you like in phase 3 at rock bottom, wondering if you'll ever get out? It's been a long time there. Are you in phase 4, newly awake, scared as hell? Are you in phase 5, fighting like hell to stay awake? And wherever you are, here's what I want you to know. The switch is real. And you're not broken. You're not weak. And you're not doomed to stay asleep forever. But you have to understand comfort can become a drug. And like any drug, it feels good while it's killing you. The question isn't whether you can change. The question is whether you're willing to be uncomfortable long enough for that switch to actually flip. Because once it does, you realize something. You weren't living, you were just kind of existing. And existence isn't enough anymore. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. If this hits close to home, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes the truth is the only thing that can save our lives. All right, guys, I'll talk to y'all soon. Hope you have a great day. God bless. Peace.